Okay, I try to make music that I would play. For the past couple of years, it's progressed. It started off more tribally because that was around like 03, 04. I started to dabble into production, and so I was still into that whole very percussive tribal sound. I caught on with electro at that time when it first was really fresh. I did a little bit of more progressive sounding stuff, and then now I'm doing a little bit more tech house, techno-y kind of driving grooves. But at the same time, because of my love for new disco, indie dance, I'm also trying to make music that way as well. Akien is somebody I met while I was one fine day when I was still a resident, a full-time resident at Zouk. He appeared in the club and he waited for the night to end, and then he, you know, where we always come out to the side of the booth, and then he came up to talk to me, and then he passed me. He said, "I'm actually dabbling with production at home. Would you mind listening to this CD of music that I, you know, some demos?" And I'm like, "Sure, okay." His sound at that time, he was really influenced by breaks and trance, which wasn't really my forte, but I was more impressed actually with the production quality and the techniques he was using. So I was like, okay, you know, this guy, he definitely knows a lot more in the studio than I do. We got together. At the time we were still new, so we had to, like, you know, go to each other's homes, check out each other's setup and see how we work, and then try to find a balance, you know, how we're gonna share our work with each other. The funny thing is that the first track that we made was immediately signed to a relatively big English label called Renaissance. So we were like, okay, wow, you know, maybe we've got something going here. And
I must say also that I really like the electrical track We Satellites that you did.
Oh.
The one particular one which featured only, I think, the chorus, refrain of his vocals.
In a loop,
yeah,
that keeps coming in a loop.
Yeah.
Yes.
That has got really pumping tech house, but more rocking tech house groove. I thought it was really wonderful.
Yeah, I decided after the doing the full-on vocal remix that you know, from the elements that we have used for the main mix, I realized it's really, you know, there's a feel that's just perfect for that kind of a darker, you know, groove, you know, groove-driven kind of a track. So, you know, it had to be done. But in fact, that's the actual track that is that most people pick out in the release. Yeah. Okay. I've also remixed locally for Angela Flame and Case Wu. There was a collaboration they did on a track on a Japanese label, and I got to do a remix for that. I've also done several remixes on foreign labels. There's some Spanish, French, German as well. I did a track for a label called Great Stuff from Germany, and in the year when there was the Olympics, which was the previous Olympics, not the recent one. In the lineup to the Olympics, they actually made their own CD, and they called like the Summer Games, you know, Great Stuff Summer Games, and they actually got in touch with producers from all around the world and to submit a track, so it makes it looks really international. So somehow I was lucky enough to be asked to do it, and we put out a track for that German label. I was really honored to represent Singapore in that way. My very first single was on as an artist on my own, was on an Australian label. It was entitled Letitia's Dream. And then the second single, it went on with Akien Regrooved, that was called Maybe Tomorrow on Renaissance. There was a night at Zouk, that was when I really started my own digital label, so we started putting out our own stuff. So we've got probably about 4 or 5 original releases on my digital label. We also did one for an English label called Distract. The title was Dig This, and I think that was the last on vinyl. So the first 3 singles, Letitia's Dream, Maybe Tomorrow, and Dig This was all on vinyl. And after that, it just went digital. Yeah, the rest are all on my own digital label. But I did do something with Rojak as well, which is Hasno, the local DJ producer, and he has his own digital label. So we've had some collaboration. You know, he did something for me, I did something for his label. It's actually just Hasno coming up to me like, look, dude, you know, let's do something. You know, how about I remix your track for you? I'm like, okay, sure. Then let's just do an exchange. You know, when you have a track, just, you know, I'll do a remix for you. Not enough. I would think maybe 6 or 7. Yeah, because the last couple of years we've been just so busy just doing remixes, you know, remixes after remixes. So we haven't really had time to, you know, come down to doing something original. But although we actually gave ourselves up to next year to put together an artist album, yeah, between me and Akien, but we are far from completion. Very far from completion. Renaissance, Distract. There's also the latest one on remix was on Under Groovy. That's French. Then of course there was Great Stuff, the German label. That's pretty much it. Yes, actually, in fact, I'm in the midst of doing a remix for you. That's one. I'm also working on a remix for Stuart Zander, who is an English dude who is an ex-bassist of Jamiroquai. He has recently released a track with Mila Jojovic on vocals.
Wow.
And through friends of friends, you know, we got in touch, and he actually asked me, you know, would you like to do a remix? And so I'm working on that right now. So a little bit excited with that, because I think that may open a few more doors. Another remix for a Japanese DJ. Yes. Yeah, so, you know, I'm concurrently trying to work with all these things. Yeah.